It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
You are quick to the draw this morning. Who said anything about lack of sleep and being up since the wee hours?
Hi,
Reminds me of
everybody. This
playing a
is the Jim and
squash
Terry
game with
Show.
you. The Jim and Terry Show coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in snowy Bob Cage, and we got at least, I'd say, 40 centimeters of snow.
We didn't get that much, but we got quite a bit. It was hard traveling over the Christmas.
Yes.
Really hard traveling. One of the reasons I couldn't go down to Vaughan.
I'm glad you didn't go, and I'm glad you stayed safe and limited your travel.
Yes,
Best,
just went to
best to
Woodville.
be
That's
safe.
not far.
Yeah. So let's go on to from Christmas to New Year's. Looking forward, year ending, year beginning. Any thoughts on 2022 before we go on to visions for 2023?
I don't know. There was so much happening, with Putin, the war. Is he going to nuke Ukraine? China really saber rattling at this point over Taiwan, and just the political anger and jousting, and then of course we've got the Trump situation, and that would take up a whole show, with taxes and with him hiding top secret documents and et cetera, et cetera. So
Well, you got quite a list of
I can't
2022.
I can't say I'm excited about flying into 23 because I don't think it's going to be a pretty year.
I'm hoping maybe for peace. Is that
sorry, was that out loud?
I'm not sure under what circumstances that may happen, but let's go back to 2022 and all the things. Yes, February saw the invasion of Ukraine. January, a year ago, saw the trucker convoy in Ottawa. So there's been a lot in 2022 to be of concern in terms of politics and geopolitics, in terms of truth, or lack thereof, in terms of justice or lack thereof. All these things are of a concern. To what extent are they not your battle anymore?
Well, you remember we were talking in the Christmas show about being observers?
Yes.
It's the two sides are so divided. Both of them have points. I mean, I try to get on both sides and listen.
Okay, which two sides are you speaking of
I'm
now?
just thinking politically right and left.
Are you speaking Canada or global or American?
Global. We know that all hell's breaking loose in France, or is that a conspiracy theory lie? Apparently, France is unraveling, and we have the United States with its political differences. I mean, look at this last governor that was elected, Sanchez. Is that his name?
Yeah, is he a governor? I thought he was just a congressperson.
Oh, maybe a congress, whatever. He says he embellished it. He didn't embellish anything. Flat out lied.
And that's okay.
I worked at Canadian Tire, and I was the manager on the floor when you were just a stock boy. That's embellishing.
And it was at Walmart, not Canadian Tire.
Yeah, never doing any of the things you said you did, including You're not Jewish. He just lied completely, and he seems to. That's the way it is. It all really started with the Trump avalanche of lies. Now everybody just lies, and
wow.
How are you trusting anybody?
There you go. So trust gone by the wayside. How do you build that back up in 2023?
I don't think you do. I know I don't sound optimistic, but I observe. I look at what's going to happen. I don't think Putin has any choice but to continue fighting and killing all his people, trying to do it. I think the lies and the deception and the absolute corruption in the American government, which I know I observe more than the Canadian one. We're too boring. We don't have all that much going on. And then just the anger with between everything seems to have a yin and a yang to it now. Like you can't just be somewhere in the middle. You have to actually buy into this or buy into that. And if you don't, there's something weird about you.
I am a little more optimistic than you are. I think we're not as polarized as we might think because of the way it's portrayed in news or the media or social media. I think there is a middle, and I think we can find it. And I'm hopeful. I told you that I have joined Fair Vote Canada as a way of looking at changing things up. We have a number of political parties. Maybe I will vote for a different party in the next federal election. But for now, I am a little bothered by the amount of Trudeau hating in Canada. I'm a little bothered by the amount of Biden hating in the United States. I'm a little bothered by the vitriol and animosity that seems to emanate, and I will label it, and you can correct me, or someone can write into the Jim and Terry Show, leave a comment below, and we'll get back to you. Label it as far right in origin, and go back to your Khrushchev comment and talk about when your politics and your political one side especially begins to sound an awful lot like Russia-generated troll language, I wonder whether we really will come undone. She's come undone.
Well, I hate to be like this. We're going to come undone. I'm saying it. We're entrenched. Like, people view things completely different. Like, someone came to the table and showed me our head of our health doing a Christmas interview with Mrs. Claus. You may have seen that, and she's telling the kids to get their needles and la da 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 da. The person showing me was completely appalled, and that this was propaganda like she's never seen in her life. I tend to agree with her, but then when I watched it with a left-wing thought, it was just a cute way to inform people that, the vaccines are out there. It wasn't that major of any propaganda. Number one, it was just a cute skit, to try to get people to vaccinate, because the people now that are caught into conspiracy, they're not even getting like polio shots.
No.
And now polio's on the rise. You're all gonna die. We conquered all this, but somehow you in your youthful life think you know smarter than all of those who went before you. And that's the propaganda they're receiving. Now, on the other end, I was really ticked off because I was watching CNN, and everybody's got a hate on now for Elon Musk. So all the left hates his guts. And to the point where I heard a newscast where the guy said because their cars are crummy, meaning Tesla. Their cars aren't crummy, Terry, but they're going to destroy this guy if they can. I'm appalled personally by both sides of the fence on this. There is no coming together.
On the Elon Musk side of things, on that issue?
On all issues.
Okay,
there's no room to come together.
There is. You and I represent the middle ground on the Elon Musk issue, where we say, go Elon for space, go with your technology and prototyping, go with your science. I do think he is lacking in empathy and compassion and a social conscience. I would point to a number of his tweets that seem to be alarmingly anti-Jewish, and alarmingly, they're misogynist. It's like everything he did since he took over Twitter has been about destroying rather than building up community. For instance, you might have heard of this guy, Andrew, I think his name is Tate, Andrew T. He's quite a, what's the word, hater, who sent out this tweet to Greta is her name Greta Thunberg?
Oh, the girl,
The
yeah.
great environmentalist. The poor girl. He said, I'm going to tweet, send me your email address so I can send you copies of my Bugattis and my Porsches and all my polluting vehicles. I've got 33 of them and they are all gas guzzlers and they're going to destroy the environment. Send me your email. And so she said, here it is. And I forget what it is. Small dick energy at igetalife.com is where you start. And I thought, well, there you go. That's so. I'm not surprised at the animosity towards Elon Musk via Twitter because
Yeah, but
he's let
saying his
people
cars
go
are
back
crummy.
on it that should
Saying
not
his
be on.
cars are crummy. This is what I can't stand about. I
Oh.
don't like. Listen, I don't like the left, and I don't like the right. I don't like either one of you guys out there. Not personally, but your philosophy, your thought. It is just
That's a
saying
little
that
too
on
broad
national-
stroke, my friend. A little too broad stroke. You got to narrow it down and
All
focus
right,
on
the
issues.
guy
So we
really-
agree that Elon Musk might have good space stuff, bad social skills. Can we agree on that?
Yes, I agree.
That's
on
neither
that,
left
yeah.
nor right. We're
Yes.
down the middle on that one.
Yes,
Okay.
but
Maybe
I have
his
to-
boring company is pretty good too, but I
I
haven't
have
read
to-
anything.
But I have to point out that guy on that committee on CNN said on camera in front of millions of people that Elon Musk's Teslas are crummy cars. Now, come on, buddy. I mean, give me a break. You talk about going over the bridge of hate. I mean, not like the
Okay,
guy's one thing,
yeah.
but don't lie about
Okay,
the guy.
so we can agree that, that kind of talk might be more appropriate on an opinion piece rather than on a government speaking about a particular brand of automobile.
Okay, but these opinion pieces on both sides of the fence are starting to drive me nuts too, because it's stated as, how many people heard that guy say that? They heard them say that, go, oh, Tesla cars are crummy. Well, I mean, cheaper stock is down because of what Elon Musk has done. Basically, it's down because people are afraid he's let go of Tesla. Not that he has Tesla, that he's not paying enough attention to Tesla. And they're probably right. I'm guessing they are. But that's why the stock's down, not because the car's crummy.
I don't know enough about it to weigh in on this one. Let's just say that there have been enough people who are buying Teslas and selling them, or that they are shooting them and blowing them up. Have you seen those on TikTok as
No.
well? Yeah, okay. So some people are not happy with their
Where are
Teslas
you
or their
watching?
return
Where-
policies. Pardon
Where
me?
do you find people blowing up Tesla?
Oh, you've got to see it. It's just a demonstration of, I'm so angry, I will videotape this to show you I'm really mad. And I don't like those kinds of things myself. But they are out there and they do exist. So yeah, and the stories of replacing Tesla batteries, you pay $75,000 for a car and you have to replace the whole battery bank after 5 years, and it's worth more than the car was worth. That's pretty hard pill to swallow. So
Well,
there are
if
some
that's-
issues.
If that's true, I wouldn't want a Tesla either.
Right. So there are those things out
If
there.
that's true.
If that's true, and there are examples, the question is how widespread are there? And so we need more data. So
You see
yeah,
a lot of cars burning up on the road. I've never seen a Tesla on fire.
uh,
I'm just
there-
saying that's the extreme. You see,
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
all other cars. I've seen models and trucks catch on fire and burn up because they're gas guzzlers. I'm assuming that's why. I'm trying to make a point.
I have no idea, and we need some data, which takes me
Yeah.
to my point about science, and I'll draw that back into your video from the Canadian Minister of Health about getting vaccines to children. The group that was left behind when the COVID vaccines were first rolled out were the kids, right? They had rolled out for the elderly first.
Yeah.
What we didn't know, and what Trump had always claimed, was that kids are resilient. Doesn't matter for kids. It's like a cough and a sneeze, and then they're done with it. We know a lot more now, and it is not a pretty sight. And parents who didn't get vaccinated have children who didn't get vaccinated, and on we go. So the science is where I'd like to take this one. We need data. We need data to go with Tesla and say, is it a good car or is it not a good car? Let's get some information. Where can we get some statistics to look at that? And for vaccines, let's get some. There's a great little Dr. Susan Oliver video that talked about the stuff going around on the anti-vax side that says, oh, just as many people with vaccines are getting COVID as those unvaccinated. So what good is a vaccine? And the truth of the statistics is that there are far more people who have been vaccinated, but the same number of people have been. I think I sent you the link.
Yeah, well, I saw it. I understand it. I agree with it. But unfortunately, those who have decided to go the other way will never hear that or never pay attention to it.
And that's up to them and their hospital plan. I hope
this is again going into how do I see, 2023.
Yes, I'm hoping. Thing. Well, I'm hoping 3 years now into COVID, we will see some greater reduction in the spread of these things.
I hope so.
So I'm optimistic for 2023. Certainly 2022 was a little bit better, although I hear the death rates are still up there. China's expecting 1 million. I'm not sure if it's a month or this year. The United States had over 1 million in the duration of COVID so far.
Yeah.
I think it's up to 1.4 million, but I'm not sure. And China's well on its way to surpass all of that now. Why? Because they won't accept Western vaccines.
Well, the other thing too is they're 2 billion, 3 billion.
Yeah, a lot more people.
The figures are going to go up. Just use your own
density. Yeah. So we're not out of this yet, but I'm hoping 2023 we'll see some greater freedom in terms of freedom to roam, freedom to participate. I still wear a mask, and I will use my wife's example. She wears her mask religiously.
Yeah.
And everyone else in the retail store has had COVID, has been off days at a time. She has not had a day absent and has not had COVID. And I'm saying,
well, there's proof right there. No, really,
well,
in your own
it's limited.
world.
It's just one little example.
Yeah.
But do your own due diligence. Wear a mask if you have to be in close proximity or in a closed space with people that you don't know. That makes sense. So are we going to be like China or Indonesia or Japan or Hong Kong where you wear a mask all the time? I don't mind. I hope that if that's what it takes.
Not going to happen. Not everybody anyways, but they would actually have to arrest you, make it that way, for in this country, because we've got people that it's now a sign of not liking the norms. I mean, a lot of the people on the right believe there's this deep state going on and all the rest of it. They actually truly believe that. Yeah. And there may be, I don't care. Like life will pan out the way it's going to pan out, but they're not going to, do that. Some people gave up whole lifestyles in defiance of, gave up their life work because they wouldn't take a needle. And that doesn't make any sense to me because, again, when the government's backing the needles, my brain can't think.
No, supporting the needle, yeah.
Supporting the needle and advertising on it, and they have the numbers and the figures. And in a country, especially like Canada, where you're looking at tops 33 million people, we need immigrants. We need people to be alive, not dead. So it's absolutely, how would you say it in English, asinine for the government to be planning to kill its own people. It's just simple reasoning, which just doesn't exist at the extremes.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll find moderation in the middle. Maybe we can find that place where we can agree.
Well, again, let's see who's right on this one. I hate to be pessimistic, but we're going into the second year of war in Ukraine, and I'm concerned. I don't lose sleep over it, but I am concerned that Putin will do something really stupid to drag either the world into a world war and get his allies to start fighting. Maybe that 200 million man army, as Revelation said, will come out of the east. Terry, you never know. I'll be blown away if Trump doesn't flee the United States. Blown away, unless he can figure out a way and be absolutely guaranteed by his lawyers that we're going to stretch this out until you die.
Maybe he bought Jeffrey Epstein's island. Maybe that's where he will flee to.
Well, isn't it funny? I mean, where do you think he would go if he did go? Like, he could go to
Saudi
Cuba.
Arabia.
Cuba would look at that as great propaganda. We've got the president of the United States.
Yes, he's ours, our hostage. Yeah, I think Saudi Arabia has
Yeah.
some cards in this game, and I'm not sure that they've got an ace up their sleeve with Jared Kushner or others. I find it really odd that Mohammed bin Salman, who ordered the attack on Khashoggi, that was allowed, that no consequences. But I guess, when you want to sell weapons, I guess he's a market you want to sell.
Well, that, and if you want a place to live when you no longer can live in the United States.
Yeah, okay.
But Trump's money would be nothing to them. So maybe Kushner's money would be, but not Trump's. I don't think he has as much as Kushner.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
we'll see.
I really have no idea, but I keep wondering. I thought Christmas would have been a perfect time. The family could say, "Oh, we're just going to get away for Christmas, get away from it all, and just never come back."
Okay, let's sum up this package, this podcast, by looking at predictions. 2023, world peace, yes or no?
No.
Trump in jail, yes or no?
No.
Back it up, maybe. One prior question. Will Trump be indicted in 2023, yes or no?
Yes.
Ooh.
He's got to be. How can he not be?
Listen, it's been 7 years. My God, surely they. Okay, I just can't believe that it's been so long, and we know all this stuff, and it's all public knowledge. Any other predictions for 2023? You're going to produce another album.
What? No, Friday. One more thing about Trump, then we'll move on. Friday, they're releasing his tax statements. And he's going to be found wanting.
I don't want to.
But you know what
I don't want to say we've known that he wrote off his hooker escapades as a business expense, but we've known about this for 10 years or more. I don't know. I'm not really encouraged about the swiftness of justice. And remember my adage that justice delayed is justice denied.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm getting frustrated myself on it all.
And that's just America.
I think these special ways of bogging down the system, that's something probably Canada and everybody needs to figure out how to get around, because the wealthy just buy their way out of prison.
Money buys justice.
Yeah.
Or at least delays justice.
Yeah, delays justice.
Yeah.
So,
okay, on a positive note for 2023, and we'll wrap up with this, is there a Jim Sampson album 2.0?
Well, there's a Jim Sampson working on 2.0 album. But it was funny because I got nailed with this vertigo, and I can't concentrate for more than just a few minutes without just needing to go sit somewhere and not.
It may be a challenge, but your intention for 2023 is to work on that album.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I wanted to release a Christmas song. I wrote one. He came down as a baby. It's just one I remember when I'd play at the church for the Walk to Bethlehem and that. And when I was in charge of keeping the people calm,
entertained
while the process was going through. But I noticed the last time I performed that, people in the crowd, like who have seen me before perform, singing that song with me. He came down as a baby, and I went, their lips are, they know the song. I thought that was pretty cool. So
that is cool.
It is a simple song, but I thought, well, sometimes simple does it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So
if you can't hum the tune, that's not worth singing.
Yeah. Well, good point. So I was working on that, and then bang, I just couldn't finish it. And I thought, give up. There's no sense in even trying. You're just going to make yourself sick. So I got it all down, but I just, when it came back to go perfect things, I didn't. How about you? 14 or 15 new albums coming out this year?
Oh, well, given our pace has slowed down a bit, maybe only one this year. However, I continue to enjoy SoundCloud and participate in that community. And I just left a comment this morning for a guy who got right back to me who said, it's been a rough year for songwriting. And his song that I commented on was about losing the muse, the inner motivation and the words and the music. And it's fleas. You can't get it. You can't get a tune. You don't feel inspired. Yeah. And he put it down in a rather entertaining fashion. So I commented and said, when I visit your page, it's always the voice of an entertainer that I hear. I don't hear a songwriter. I hear an entertainer. And he said, thanks for saying that, because it's been a rough year. And I'm glad. I will treasure that comment. Happy 2023. And I thought, there you go. Leave a few words, support and encourage other musicians, because we all struggle finding things to say and creative ways to say it. There you go. 2023. I hope it has an album. James Sampson 2.0. Maybe not Jim being reinvented 2.0. Maybe not even your music, because I like your rock stuff. So what is it? Maybe just finish the story of Soapbox Joe.
Well, that one's written. Soapbox Joe Part 2 is written. And for our audience,
but it has to be recorded.
3. Yeah, well, that's next. That's next, because I've missed Christmas. So the next time I go in and I'm going to start. I might do the bass to this Christmas song and then get that out. Just
there you
go. Maybe just the beginning of it, because I did one of the best bass runs, I've ever done, and it's way too busy. Way too busy. It was one of those ones, like boom, 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 back up, just through the whole song, and it went.
Oh yes, I know that bass line well.
Yeah, you just ruined it, But the good thing for 2023, which I will say, it is our choice to maintain love and compassion. That's our choice to not let that be taken from us. Yep. And so for 2023, I still see friendship and family. I still see all of that, and that, and my religion, that sustains me. I'm happy.
There you go.
As the world goes to hell in a handbasket. But that's
we're ending on a positive note, my friend. Yeah. All right, you got one more call to do. We'll see if we can get a potpourri, our catch-all, and wrap up with that.
Got you, Terry.
You good for it? All right. See you in a bit.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.